Hello. Can I hear you?
For some reason, I cannot.
Can you hear me?
Hi, Nicola. Yes,
Hello.
can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me okay?
I hear you okay now. Yes.
Oh, great, great. Thanks for taking some time to come and speak to us today.
Thank you for inviting me and having me. I
Of
appreciate it.
course, of course. So you've done a lot of work in the last few years, and the one that really stands out to me that I'd like to speak to you about is Captors. So how did you get involved with the film in the first place?
So Captors, the screenplay has been in, excuse me, in works for quite a few years, and originally it was called Alone, and then it changed. Distributors changed it to a different title. But yeah, so I was working with this screenplay writer, the writer Philip Day, on another project, collaborating with him, and then he brought to my attention, to the producer's attention, that he's got this interesting screenplay that he would like us to read it, and started there. And then it was brought to James, and then James was interested in it, because the director, because it's a challenging film to shoot on a small budget, because there's only pretty much one person involved, and there's not much dialogue there, so there's a challenge there. But he found different creative ways to approach this film, and all the multiple scenes associated with it. And he created this amazing, we have in script, I'm playing two roles
Right.
in the film, Alice and Twisted Alice. And so Twisted Alice in the script, in the original script, was completely different than it is in the movie. So what you see in the film is what James literally created while we were shooting. That
Okay.
idea came up to him, and because he's in the horror genre, it's his favorite genre in the world. He came up with that brilliant idea to turn that character into what it is right now.
Sure. And you've worked with James before, right? On a few projects?
Yeah, we worked, but not directly, like
Oh,
not
okay,
in a
okay.
feature film or anything. But I worked with him after Captors. We worked on several projects. He's very, very talented, young director, but he's achieved a lot in a
And
short
the you
period
mentioned
of life.
about yeah, yeah. It's how did you now you prepared obviously for two roles really in this
Mhm.
film. But it's very like and it's the horror, it's a horror subject, of course, but it seems like it has, it's more realistic in a lot of ways than some horror films. How do you prepare for a role like this, which is very intense in nature?
Exactly. That's a great question. And that's what we both did, him as a director and me as an actor. We've talked to psychiatrists, to psychologists, we spoke to patients, and, this is very unique topic. It's not something that is discussed too much. The actual internal psychiatric state of the patient after something of this nature. And the my goal as an actress in this film was to portray this role accordingly, especially when the hallucinations start, when the panic attacks start, and because that's what they live with. They live with these fears and anxieties for the rest of their life. Those who survive these ordeals, and not all of them survive. It's a very, very small minority that survive, and their lives will never be the same, no matter how many sessions they have.
Right.
They can improve the quality of their life, but obviously the paranoia, the shame, the guilt, self-blame, none of those things will ever go away permanently. That's unfortunate reality of the mind of the victim.
Sure. And as far as the intensity for you in filming Captors, did it ever get to you in terms of the those type of aspects?
Yeah, I mean, you do this for several weeks nonstop, and it's like you're the only person pretty much, carrying the film, and you're in pretty much every scene. So it's very physically and emotionally challenging role, because most of the delivery here is through the body language and the facial expressions, pretty much, and heavy breathing. Let's
Right.
not forget about that. And you would think it's not difficult to breathe heavily, but try to do this for like 2 minutes straight, and you'll see you become dizzy.
Right.
So physically, it's very challenging. By the end of the day, because also we're not even talking about makeup in and out. You have to constantly touch up your makeup. At first you prep for the scenes, then you touch it up, then you put, they want to make you sweaty, then they have scratch here, you have scratches.
Right.
So special effects always play a big role, right, in the movie. So all of those things, physically it's challenging for the body, but mentally it's challenging just because you have to go through all these ups and downs, mostly downs in this movie.
Right.
And then by the end of the day, yes, as a person, as a human being, you're tired just because it was a tiring day, but it's emotionally rewarding at the same time, because I get the honor of, I was chosen to portray the state of, feeling at that time for that person, and I get to showcase what this person is going through my emotions and through my facial expression. So like I'm honored that they chose me to do this.
Right. And it must have been doubly taxing because of you're playing two roles, right? You're
Yeah,
playing.
yeah. But the second role, it's like I said, it's a completely opposite. So she is a clear representation of her shame and self-guilt.
Mhm.
She's blaming herself for what has happened to her. And in this horror, it seems like it's a horror representation of her inner self, which it
Right.
is. It's that person who says it's your fault. She says it's your fault that we've been kidnapped. It's your fault. Now you kill him. Now you do. So she does want to kill him. She does it. She lives with it for all her life, and she doesn't know
Right.
how to release it. And those are the things she's struggling with.
Yeah. And you got to work with a lot of different people on the project, but you work, I think, a lot with Bruce Davison. Is that correct?
Yeah, Bruce Davison was only on the set for a few days. He wasn't
Okay.
there every day, and it was an honor to work with him.
Right.
He's a very serious actor, amazing.
Right.
And so, when he was on the set, everybody was, very happy to see him and to meet him. But what's great about him, and I told this in my previous interview, that he was not afraid to take up that challenge to play this interesting role, because anybody can be a bad guy, but as an actor, like you have to have certain scenes that are maybe uncomfortable even for actors,
Right.
but he still managed to portray it so wonderfully, like so. I mean, it's not. I don't want to use the word wonderfully, but it's like
Right. I get it.
so professionally. The delivery
Right.
is so professional, and he is totally that character in that moment, and that's what acting is all about.
Sure.
When you look
Yeah.
at it, you're like, sick bastard. Like, why is he doing this to this? But
Right.
but that's the goal. You want to deliver someone who the audience is going to hate, if this is a person that you want to hate in the script. So he did a great job, and those scenes were shot in a very intimate environment. It was very just the director, DP, and some electric people, but everything else, he
Yeah.
delivered to the point. And everybody else, like the wardrobe people, the makeup artist department, everybody did such a great job, because it's hard to work on the small budget movies.
For sure. And as far as you talk about the budget, in some ways your story seemed to work well within those constraints because it's very claustrophobic.
Yes.
It's very
Yeah.
right. It's very, you don't need big sets or whatever because it does take place in a small space for a lot of it.
Exactly. And it's in one space and it's one person. And what are you going to do if you are, God forbid, in a situation like this? Even without the PTSD, just if you are just like someone who's lured into a house like that and you're trapped like that, what would you do?
Right.
So kind of puts your mind, in that direction.
It does. Yeah. It's a frightening thought for sure. And the another film you worked on recently was the one with Glenn Danzig, the Death Rider
Yeah.
and
That's Spider in the House of Vampires.
thank you. I always forget the second part of that title.
I
Yeah.
know. I think they added this. I think initially it was supposed to be the Death Rider only, if
Right.
I'm not mistaken. And then they added this long,
Right. Of course.
vampire.
Vampire always works for the title too, I guess.
Exactly.
So, what was your experience working on that film?
So it was amazing. I met Glenn at Sitges Film Festival in Spain when we came there with Captors. We were invited to screen our film. We were officially selected. And Glenn had his other project there that was screening there as well. And I saw he had press conference after press conference. Everybody's wanting, everybody wanted a piece of Glenn at that time,
Right.
all the press people and fans. And his because they had multiple movie theaters that are screening different films and different projects in the festival, but his room was always filled with so many people. It was like a lot of fans when they found out Glenn is coming there. Everybody just filled the seat so fast. So that's how I met him. And then a couple of months later, when we returned, um, because our director of the Captors was a producer of his first project.
Oh, okay.
So James contacted me and he's like, Glenn is doing auditions today for like few roles for this new project of his about vampires, but it's a Western.
Hmm.
It's a basically a spoof on the spaghetti westerns. And he goes, but you need to have Southern accent. Can you pull this off? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Like I never done this before. I've been
Right.
since I said, yeah, of course. Just send me the email. So I acted really cool. He goes, you have like a couple of hours. By this time, he needs to get it because he's like in the process of doing auditions right now. So I said, great, because Glenn wanted me for that role, but he wasn't sure if I can pull off that accent.
Right.
And so I called up a friend of mine who helped me out. He put me on tape. I read with him because I wanted him to read it with the southern accent, and just for my ear to kind of get used to those lines being pronounced in that fashion. And so I kind of my ear memorized it, and so I reenacted this scene. And we put it on tape, and then I sent it to James and to the guys, and then they looked at it, and he goes, "Hey, Glenn loved it. You're in." I'm like, "Yay, that was
Hey,
easy."
good. That
And
was short work. Yeah, good job.
yeah, I do this all the time. Southern accent is what I do.
Right, right.
So that was cool. And then when we shot it, the shoot was only at night, so no day shoots at all. Um, so not much sleep during the night there, but it was
Right.
very interesting but cold. It was very cold because everything was outside. They built sets outside in the desert, and the nights were cold because it was in the winter. But at the end, what matters is the product. It's a fun project to watch, and we had screening for cast and crew. So I'm not really sure what platforms it's available right now because they have their own distribution company. So I'm not sure, but
Okay.
I know you can find it online.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Their
Where did you shoot it? You said it was
website.
the
We shot
desert.
it in Santa Clarita area somewhere there.
Oh, okay. Okay,
Santa Clarita.
gotcha.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and you got to work with a lot of actors who are really well known for the genre work, such as Danny
Yeah.
Trejo and Julian Sands and
Rod.
Besa.
Yeah.
Yes, right, right. What was it like being around some of those people who have a lot of experience in the industry?
Yeah, yeah. Well, to be honest, I didn't because I didn't have any scenes with Mr. Trejo. I didn't meet him.
Right.
So, but I mean, of course, I saw him in the film.
Yes.
But everybody who worked with him, they only had good things to say. I got to meet Eli, and we were in the makeup trailer together, so we chatted a little bit about things. But he did amazing. When you see him in that movie, he brings so much life to the
Right.
scene. He's awesome, like amazing.
That's great. And so what else, what do you have coming up that you're working on? Anything we
I have
talk about?
several things. I have an action film that I will be filming in fall. I have a crime thriller that is set to be shot in fall as well.
Right.
And then I'm working on a couple of projects of my own, where one is a dark comedy pilot that
Okay.
I've written with someone, and hopefully, trying to we'll shop it, I guess. See what
Yeah.
kind of attention we're gonna get. But I do like comedy genre as well. It's not just all about thrillers and crimes, and
Right.
even that's fun and interesting. I like
Sure. Ab-
environments. When you watch movie, you got to be scared sometimes. A great movie should make you feel scared, happy. You should laugh. Those are great emotions in us. And when you watch a movie, you want to bring all those emotions to life for 2 hours, an hour and a
That's
half.
right.
That we watch, we're in a different world. That's what I like.
Right.
Take our mind
Absolutely.
away from the reality.
That's for sure. Yeah, we could use that. So, well, thank you for your time today. I really enjoyed, speaking to you, and best of luck with some of those future projects. And I know that people are very interested in seeing the captors, those who haven't seen it yet. And it's
Yeah, it's
gotten,
available on all major platforms, online platforms, Apple, Amazon Prime, Hulu, et cetera, et cetera. But hopefully you guys can check it out. And I'm looking forward to your comments, and follow
absolutely.
me on Instagram.
Oh, absolutely. Be happy to. So again, thanks again. And we'll hopefully speak to you soon.
Awesome. Have a great day.
Okay.
Thank you so
You
much for your
too.
time.
Take care.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.